Hey, folks, this is the Two Mix. We're coming to you live from Cosmic Golf out here on the flight deck. And, folks, we're going to be talking about the Ryder Cup. We're going to be talking about the WNBA, and Mike will introduce our guest here in a minute. But I do want to say one thing. We are dedicating this program to a great friend of mine, a dear friend, Dave Starr. He gave in to cancer, but he fought it. He fought it like I've never seen anybody fight it before. But anyway, we're dedicating this podcast to Dave because Dave loved golf. Now, he probably would have hated this week's Ryder Cup, but he loved golf. Mike, will you introduce our guest?
I sure will, Jimmy. But before I do, I just want to say, we kind of started this whole thing, Jimmy, kind of saying we're just going to do it because we're going to have fun. Life is short, and last year you battled some health issues, so I know this is close to your heart. So I'm glad you dedicated this to Dave tonight. And I didn't know Dave as well as you did. I know you were close to him, but hey, life's short, man. You never know what ball is going to be thrown to you. So let's have some fun. And I'm going to introduce our guest tonight, Jimmy. It is a pleasure tonight to have one of our close friends out here tonight, Jimmy. Janelle Presley, who is a expert in the WNBA. I'm talking, I don't think I've never been around somebody that is as passionate and as knowledgeable about the WNBA as this girl.
Janelle,
So,
did you go and watch a game here this weekend?
I did. I went and watched the Indiana Fever play in Game 4 of the playoffs at Indiana on Sunday. Expert, I don't know. Passionate and fan of not just the Fever, but the entire WNBA. I am. Don't miss a game. I watch all of them, not just the Fever. But
she's got the package, Jimmy.
I do.
That's how big of a fan she is.
WNBA League Pass, so I don't miss anything. I love women's sports in general. I love basketball. I love softball. I love, those are my two favorites, obviously. But I play both of those.
And Janelle, we love you too.
Oh, I love you guys.
Oh.
You guys are always a lot of entertainment.
Well, it takes a lot of love to come on to the two mix, Jimmy.
Janelle, this Friday, the finals of the WNBA are coming up. Phoenix Mercury versus Las Vegas.
Yes.
And I've been looking at the stats, and except for, I think the Mercury has a better defense. Other than that, they are pretty even on all the stats. What is your observation of these two teams?
No, I agree. I think they've both had troubled seasons. Vegas spent most of their season below 500. Asia Wilson has struggled with her consistency. And because the Mercury has such a great defense, if you shut down Asia Wilson, you more than likely are going to have the upper hand. That's if they don't put in Megan Gustafson, and then you can't block and guard those two big players. They're both powerhouses. They both have had great careers. Gustafson, this is only her second year in the WNBA, but you can't block and guard both of them effectively enough to shut down their offense. So you have to pick and choose what you want to do. The Phoenix, this is a rebuild year for them. They only have 3 returning players. That's it. And they weren't healthy as a team completely at all until late July. That's when they got healthy, and then that's when they started turning things around for the season.
So what do you look for in Game 1?
Game 1, I look
Which
for
starts Friday, Jimmy. You got to tune in?
I know.
You got to tune in, man. Well, I'm going to be on the road, so I'll have to listen to it on the radio.
Well, I know you wanted to talk, but I want to just listen to Janelle right now, Mike.
I think what we're going to look for to happen in the first game is they're really going to fill each other out. I think it's going to be very physical, and they're going to see who is going to have the upper hand in the physicality department as far as that goes. They're both have really strong, big players as far as that go. They play big games. They take up the paint. They play the post really well. They have very powerful guards. Their guards can play offense and defense well. Asia Wilson is the MVP 4 times in a row, or 4 times for a reason. She has also been the defensive player of the year. So it's not just an offensive threat. She is the defensive threat. When you have Alyssa Thomas, that is your triple-double standard for the WNBA. How do you beat that? How do you shut down both sides of that? So I'm not sure who's going to take it, but it's going to be a pretty visible game.
So let me ask you this. Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
do you think they would have beat the Indiana Fever, which the Indiana Fever, I think, took them to overtime, and they're correct on that?
They did in Game 5.
Yeah, and do you think that they would have beat them if they had Caitlin Clark and Sophia Cunningham playing?
I think if we would have had more,
Indiana Fever. I didn't know you were Indiana Fever.
just
Jimmy,
a little
this
bit.
girl has every Caitlin Clark jersey there is, except for the away one.
That
I
is-
found out.
that is
but
correct.
Yes, she is a huge Fever fan, and it's. It's lights out. I'm telling you.
But do you
I'm telling
think they would have won if the Fever had Caitlin and Sophia? Do you think the Fever would have won instead of the Aces?
More than Caitlin and Sophia. We had Damaris Santos that set the bench as well. She was out in concussion protocol. We had a couple of other injuries. We had 5 players riding the bench that were injured. And I think if we had our total lineup that was healthy and available in the rotation, I do. I think we would have beat the Aces. We
may have beaten them last night if they wouldn't have lost Boston and Mitchell.
That's correct.
Mitchell went out with an injury, which I haven't seen anything on it today on whether it's how serious it is, but they lost her in the middle of the second half. And then, I don't know, they were calling some touch fouls, and that last foul in Boston was pretty tic-tac, but she fouled out. So in overtime, they went to overtime, and actually the Fever hit a shot to tie it at the end of the game, and I was kind of hoping that she would shoot a 3 because I thought if they go to overtime, they're not going to probably win because they had too many players that were out, and they were just probably at the end of the rope. So, and that's ultimately what ended up happening. But, it was a great game, and the Fever, man, they just kept fighting. They would not go away. And I love to see that in sports, is a team that just keeps fighting, even if they've got players down. And it was fun to watch, Jimmy. I'm telling you, if you get a chance to go to a WNBA game,
Did you go to the game this
I
weekend
did go to
too?
the game too. Yes, I did go to the game too, and it was a great experience. It was first WNBA experience, and I had a great time. First time in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, so where the Pacers play as well. So it was definitely a great experience. So it opened my eyes to a lot of things in the WNBA. Which one thing I was going to ask you about? One of the big things in the news today was it somebody from the Mercury?
Nafisa Collier from the Lynx.
Lynx came out and really blasted the leadership of the WNBA.
She did.
And tell us a little bit about what you think about that, Janelle. Because I'm not as familiar with that about kind of what's going on, and I'm sure you are.
So Nafisa Collier is one of our most prolific players in the league as well. She is also an MVP candidate every year. She is also Defensive Player of the Year. The Lynx were the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. And she wanted to comment on the officiating inconsistency. And we've struggled with that a lot. Not just the winners of the games, but the losers of the games as well. Both sides, coaches, players, everybody has commented on the inconsistency of the officiating. The level of physicality that has been allowed this year in the league has led to as many injuries as they have had, not with just the Fever, but Nafisa Collier now has torn ligaments. It wasn't a foul situation that happened. Let's be honest about that. It was a clean pick that caused the injury. But the lack of accountability from the front office as far as that goes, and the escalation of the physicality of the game has led to fights, has led to ejections. The last game for the Lynx in the playoffs.
There's nothing worse than a girl fight. I'm going to tell you that. I've broken several up. Working in education is my whole year. The girls don't quit, man.
I mean, we've got coaches that are getting suspended and tossed, and they just throw fines out.
Girls' fights are the worst, man. There's hair breadth
She
flying and hair everywhere.
She basically called out the leadership.
She did.
And I'll be honest about it. I think Stephen A. Smith today said that leadership of the NBA, the president right now, should be gone. And I'll tell you what, I agree with her.
I did too.
I think that she made a comment about Caitlin, that Caitlin should be lucky because they were talking about paying the players more. Of course, the players have to bring in more money, and Caitlin could do that. But this leadership of the WNBA has been bad all year long, and actually it started last year a little bit.
I agree. Kathy Engelbert is the commissioner of the WNBA.
That's the one that needs to go.
Calling Kathy out.
Yes.
Yes, she
call her
needs to
out.
go. She needs to go.
And that's what,
Kathy's not going to be a fan of the two Micks, Jimmy.
I-
We keep
well,
this-
That's
You know
okay.
what?
I don't want her to be.
Mike, I don't think she's going to be around much longer.
Well, then maybe she doesn't. Maybe she can come on the show. Who knows?
Her
Right.
response to that was only losers complain about the refs, and the players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. That's
Yes.
Kathy Engelbert's response and stance on that. She is not here for the players.
She's not there for the players. She's not there, and I don't know how the NBA Stern, what's his name?
Stern, he's a long time
I
ago.
know. I'm old school, Mike. But anyway, I don't know how the NBA should do that. But I think she should be fired after this year.
I agree. I do.
Their contract.
All right,
Well,
putting you on the spot, Janelle.
Okay.
Who's going to win the championship? Starting game 1 on Friday. Is it the Mercury or is it the Aces?
Man, there are two really competitive teams, and because they've both struggled this year, it's a toss-up. Now, who I want to win, I would love to see the Mercury win. I would really love to see the Mercury win, especially because they've had an underdog season. They have had a rebuild year. It would be a very sweet ending to their season if they did that. The same way if the Fever had gone on to be in the playoffs after all the injuries and obstacles they've overcome. I like to see a team overcome obstacles and come out on top. That's a good story.
Asia Wilson plays for them.
Asia Wilson plays for the Aces.
That's who I think's going to win.
The Aces.
I think. Well, and I'll tell you what. I always think you take the best player because I saw Danny Manning one time take Kansas to a national championship, and he was the only player on that team. And I think Asia Wilson can do the same thing.
Well, this is the third finals appearance for the Las Vegas Aces in the last 4 seasons.
Yeah.
So
they
that's
know,
how
who you
they know
pick.
what's going
Is it
on.
the
They got
Aces?
experience.
You got to put your money down. Let's go. It's Vegas.
I think the Aces will win it, but I want the Mercury to win it.
All right. So your heart wants the Mercury, but your
Stats
brain
wise,
is telling you the Aces. I think I'm going to have to go with the Aces as well. And that's just, I don't really know why I'm picking that, but I am because I saw them in person, and it would be kind of cool to see the team that I saw in person win it all. And so I really don't have a stake on either team other than that. So
Janelle, I want to thank you. You're very knowledgeable, and you did a great job on the podcast.
oh, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Now, if you can stay around, we'd love to have you stay around.
Sure.
All right. Mike, what about the Ryder Cup this weekend? Let me tell you what I think.
I think
well,
you're gonna
hey,
tell us
no
anyway.
matter if I want to or not, Jimmy, you're going to tell me
Well,
what you think.
I think the USA sucked Friday and Saturday. But
Well-
I will tell you this. I will give them credit. They tried to make a strong comeback. And, wow, they're going to have to go up against these same players, Rory and them, in 2 years when it's in Ireland, Rory's hometown.
Well,
someplace around there.
Obviously, unfortunately, the bigger part of the whole story was the fans and the way that they acted towards the Europeans, which was ridiculous. I don't know your opinion
Well,
on
it's,
that.
well, it's
And
not a
there
regular
was-
golf game, and let me
Yeah,
tell
but
you, we
still.
get the same thing when we go over there.
Yeah, but there's nothing. I mean, like Rory McIlroy's wife getting beers thrown at her. I mean,
Oh,
That was insane.
I mean, to me, it's like, come on, just cheer the USA on. You don't need to downgrade or degrade anybody. And that was just abominable.
I
It was
agree with
abysmal.
that.
I mean, so it should have never happened.
But anyway, the United States lost 13-15.
After being way down, because it looked like it was going to be just a blowout.
Yeah,
So,
I forget what they came in the last day, but
well, and my thing, Jimmy, is I went to the Ryder Cup when it was here. Everybody was, of course, it is New York. New York's a little
There you
different. And not to bash New York, because there's a lot of great people in New York. I was just up there about a month ago, and people were great. But, we got Kentucky hospitality here. When it was here, I mean, there was nothing but respect for all the players. And it was, I saw nothing like that the whole time I was there.
But anyway, we got 2 years to do something about it, and they are talking like Tiger Woods will be the captain of the Ryder Cup the next time.
Wow.
You like that, don't you know? Yeah.
That's the way I respond to Jimmy's golf comments, too. Wow.
All right, so let's get into football, Mike. What did you think about this past weekend?
Well, some big road wins this weekend with Alabama and Oregon were the 2 big winners this weekend in college football. We both picked Georgia to win that game at Georgia, and Alabama went in. Man, they looked like the Alabama of old. Speak of the devil right there. We're talking about your Tide right now. King. They looked amazing, and they looked like the Nick Saban teams of old on Saturday. And they went into Athens and got a huge win.
Folks,
And-
that's our Major League Baseball expert, Mark Kane. He will be on the podcast next week to talk about the playoffs.
Well, 2
and
weeks.
everything.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. I forgot. 2 weeks.
So, Alabama obviously getting a big win on the road. Oregon going into Penn State. What I say about Penn State, Jimmy, I said they haven't played anybody. And, now
They did go into overtime. Mike.
I don't care. They lost at home.
Well, I guarantee
That's a
you-
game they should win. And, Oregon, who knows, but Oregon went in and got a big win. The other big winner, I think, of the weekend was Ole Miss. Ole Miss has they got a win against LSU. It wasn't home, but Ole Miss is looking really good. And they, like I said, they could be a team that could sneak in the playoff.
Well, they beat LSU. So,
Of course, the big one was Friday in terms of the upsets. Florida State goes in and lays an egg at Virginia and loses to Virginia in overtime. And, maybe Virginia's a little better than what we're giving them credit for, but they'll have a chance to bounce back, which we'll talk about that when they play at Miami. Or no, they play at home against
so
Miami
what
this
about
weekend.
the top 10, Mike? How do you think there should be? Do you disagree with anything that the AP poll did?
No, I mean, I'm good with where we're at right now. I mean, Ohio State still won. There's nothing that, that they've done that would have shaken that up. Oregon moved up to 2 and Miami dropped to 3. I mean, that's neither here nor there. Whether you're 2 or 3, it doesn't really matter. Ole Miss was the big jumper going all the way up to 4. Penn State dropped down to 7, which I thought they may have dropped down a little bit more than that since they played at home. But and then IU's up at 8 now, and Alabama moved back into the top 10, which they deserve to.
I think after that game they do.
They've got another tough one this week, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit.
Alabama plays Vandy this week, Mike, since you brought it up. And if you remember last year, Bama lost that game at Vandy. The only difference is it's at Alabama this year. But they still have the same quarterback, Vandy does, as they had last year.
But the thing was, last year they had Vandy right after the big win against Georgia, and they went in and took them lightly. I don't think they'll do that this year.
Well,
At least they better not, because Vandy's good. I mean, Vandy could go in there and still beat them no matter what. I mean,
Mike, who did they beat this past week? Who did Alabama beat? Oh, they beat Georgia.
they
Same
beat the
scenario
Bulldogs.
coming up, right?
Yeah. They've beaten them 10 out of the last 11 times, Jimmy. 10 out of the last 11 games.
Wow.
Georgia can beat everybody but Alabama, it seems.
Yeah, but Georgia beat Alabama, the one that counted when they won the national championship.
They did.
And since you brought up next week's games, speaking of Georgia, I think.
Well, do we want to talk a little bit about the Cats and the Cards first, Jimmy?
No, I don't want.
You don't even want to talk about it. It was so
Well,
bad.
I'll
Can you
give-
believe this? He doesn't even want to talk about the Cats. It was so bad.
Well, okay, I'll talk about Louisville. Louisville
got lucky to win.
No, I'm not saying Louisville. What they impressed me about is they got down 17 points and then they came back and tied it. Then they got down 10 points and they came back and tied it. And then they went on to win by a touchdown.
Pitt kind of gift wrapped it for them a little bit too.
That impressed me that they came back. They did not give up.
No, they didn't.
Now, Kentucky went up 7-0, and then I don't even want to know about the rest of the game because it was awful.
We both picked with our hearts last week and probably shouldn't have. And unfortunately, they looked great the first series, and then after that, the wheels fell off. And I don't know, Jimmy. I mean, the big thing talk right now is Stoops need to go.
Well, they've already got it on the SEC network that Gruden is rumored that he wants to come to Kentucky, and it's rumored that there's a possibility.
I think it's Summerall's job from Tulane if he wants it. He's got Kentucky ties.
Well, we'll see. I'd like to see Gruden. I know he had some controversy when he was in the NFL over some emails.
You want Chucky, huh?
I want little Chucky. Yeah.
Chucky.
Hell, if he scares me, he'll scare the other team.
Oh gosh.
I don't know, Jimmy. These pro coaches that have come down to the college ranks aren't doing so well.
Well,
so
I think Chucky would do good.
I think that. I mean, I'm not a person that thinks that Stoops should go in the middle of the season. I'm never
No,
a big
not
proponent
now,
of that.
no.
And he's done enough. The unfortunate thing is that Stoops has done some great things for our program, and he's taken us to a lot of great things. And I hate to see it ending like this.
Well,
But, I think it's kind of like Calipari, even when he left. It's time for a new voice. It's time for a change. It's time for a new voice.
Mike, when
and-
Stoops last year after the team beat Ole Miss last year at Ole Miss, and Stoops made the comment He said that is like winning a championship game here at Kentucky. We're paying this guy $9 million a year. He should think national championship at Kentucky. There's no reason we can't do it with the football team. No reason. And it's time for us to get a coach that believes that way. If Stoops doesn't, then I like Stoops, but it's time for him to go.
Well, I'm a realist when it comes to Kentucky football. I'd just be happy for us to be competitive, win 7, 8, every once in a while win 9 or 10 games, and go to a nice bowl. I don't think we're ever going to compete for national championships in Kentucky.
Well,
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I disagree. With that.
Not with our schedule. It doesn't get any easier starting with this new 9-game
everybody
schedule.
in the SEC has the same schedule. Make it where, oh my gosh, we got to play Kentucky this week. We got to make you scared of it. All right. Speaking of Kentucky and Georgia gets. I think they get over that loss pretty quick because they play Kentucky at noon. It's a noon game, folks, and I'm taking Georgia.
I think it's just a matter of the point spread. Georgia's going to be fuming mad after losing to Alabama, and that's just going to be another. I mean, every week's going to be a beatdown. I mean, they go to Georgia, then they get a bye, then they get Texas at home, Tennessee at home, then at Auburn, and then Vandy at Vandy. I mean, it's just a bloodbath.
The Florida game, I am going to be there, Mike.
So, Janelle, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh, gosh. I'm not.
What's your pick? This is an easy one. This is just like a softball. You know how the softballs go. This is a little slow pitch softball coming to you. Kentucky or Georgia? Who's going to win?
Georgia.
Thank you.
That is a no-brainer.
If you'd have picked Kentucky out of it.
And then, Mike, this game, if we had picked this early in the year, it would have been a no-brainer. But Clemson at UNC,
Well,
that game, I'm having trouble picking who's going to win.
the reason I put that down wasn't necessarily because it's a big matchup now, but it's two coaches that you would have never thought were going to be on the hot seat at the beginning of the year.
Well,
and
actually, Bill Belichick has a better record than Dabo.
he does. Of course, he didn't play LSU either.
I'm going to let you go first. Who you pick?
Whew.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. I'll pick Clemson. I'll pick Clemson just because I think Clemson will rally around Dabo.
I'm going with North Carolina because it's at North Carolina. And I don't know. Right now, Clemson's got to show me.
The only one that really matters is Janelle's pick.
I'm going with Clemson.
Clemson,
I am.
the Tigers.
Well, good.
I am.
I mean, good. I mean, I need that way when I see you next time, I can say, you're wrong.
I'll embrace that. That's okay. I'm
All
fine
right.
with being wrong.
And then another good game. And always, it seems like they're always in the SEC. Texas at Florida, and I'm going with Texas, Yeah.
Well, I definitely am going to go with Texas, but it is the main one of the main SEC games on at 3:30, and there's not as many big games this weekend as there was last weekend. That could still be interesting though, because Texas has struggled offensively, and Florida, the one thing they do have is a good defense.
Yeah.
So, and they're playing in the swamp. So, I saw Florida last year about this time last year when they played Kentucky, and their backs were against the wall, and they responded.
They did.
So, you never know, but I think that it could be a better game than what people think, but I do think Texas will win.
And then here's a matchup of top 26, number 16, Vandy, number 10,
Isn't that just so
Alabama.
weird? Number 16, Vandy.
See, that's what Kentucky could do, Mike. So don't tell me it can't be done.
Oh, I think it can be done. I just don't know about national championships.
It's at Alabama. I think Alabama wants a little revenge from last year, and I think that's going to win.
Well, we forgot to ask Janelle, Texas or Florida, who are you going with?
You both went with Texas, and I agree with you. I remember last year that Florida around this time did take a turn. So I'm going to be the odd man out on this one. I'm going to pick Florida.
Picking the upset
You're the odd
in
woman
the
out.
swamp.
If they
In
weren't
the
in the swamp, I don't know that I would pick it. But
That's pretty good.
I went to that game last year. The swamp, you've been to the swamp too.
Yep.
It's definitely a place you need to go
I
if you're a
hope that's
football
one
fan.
place that they don't think they have to ever build a new facility, because that is a great place to watch football.
It is.
All right,
Most of the
so
SEC stadiums are.
Vandy and Alabama.
Alabama.
Roll Tide on
I
me.
think we're going roll tide all the way across the board. I think Vandy will give them a pretty good game, but at the end, I think Alabama will be ready this time after what happened last year.
Okay,
You would hope so.
The next one is two teams that came off. Virginia came off a major win, beat Florida State, and U of L finally played somebody and beat Pitt in a struggle, but still won at Pitt.
And
Virginia,
Virginia
at U of
pulled
L.
the big upset against Florida State.
Now, that's what I just said. Listen to me. Don't you listen to me?
I try to block you out a lot. That's what I try to do.
Anyway,
understand why.
I'm taking U of L in this one. U of L showed me that they don't give up on the game.
I'm going to give my pick before Mike does, and I'm going to go with U of L as well.
She's a Cards
I'm a
fan,
Cards
so
fan, so it doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to pick the Cards.
I'm going with Virginia in this.
You're the odd man out this
I am the odd man out, and I think
Let's pull
I think
Lee
Virginia's-
Corso on
I
it.
think
Not so fast, my
not so
friend.
fast, my friend. I'm not going to pull out the big Wahoo hat or anything, whatever it is, but Cavalier head. But I do think Virginia is pretty good. I don't necessarily think they're going to make the playoff or anything like that. But U of L really got lucky to win last. I'm not trying to pick on Louisville. They got very lucky. I mean, Pitt's Hunter just dropped the ball literally right in his hands. Then they got that awful call when they were down 17-0 to get back into the game. So I think Virginia will win that in Louisville.
Then the other game we're going to talk about is Miami at Florida State. Number 3 against Florida State dropped all the way to 18th. And this one's hard, but I tell you what, I'm going to go with Florida State in the upset.
You're taking the upset on this one.
I'm taking the upset. I'm taking Florida State.
What? You're always the one that knows the line. What's the line on that game playing at Florida State? I'd be interested to know.
I don't know what this one was. You asked me
Well,
before we
weren't you
started our podcast.
You're my line guy. You're the betting guy for me.
I don't know what this. It'll change before.
I bet you that's a closer line than you think. I wonder if it's about even playing at Florida State. It's a rivalry game too.
Yes, it's in state rivalry, but I'm taking Florida State.
I'm going to take Florida State too because I think they'll bounce back, and I think playing at home. I think Florida State will win that game. I think Florida State got to prove that they are for real. What do you think, Joe?
I'm going with you guys.
Good.
It's a Seminole sweep, Jimmy. Seminole sweep. So, but that's pretty much wraps up our big games. Like I said from last week.
Yeah.
In college, it's not as big of a week this week as it was last. Last week was just, I mean,
I don't know. There's
just
some
a
good
full
games on,
slate.
I think.
No, there's good games, but last week was just epic.
Yeah.
It was just bam, 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 one after the other. You got to have a lot more weekends like that too. But
And then in NFL last week we had the Dallas game and the Packers game. I think was the most intriguing game, ending in a tie.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't no such thing as a stinking tie.
Not in football. You only do that in
A
soccer.
tie you well run
Don't talk
the
about
neck.
that either.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that I know this is going to come up a little bit later, but I think that ties in the NFL, I don't understand why they just don't. I understand now the way the rules are that they have to where each team gets the ball, which I'm good with that. I think that needed to happen. But to me, once they've each got the ball, then go back to sudden death. Whoever scores first wins.
I
I
agree.
mean, I don't understand, but
I think it's more entertaining that way as well.
I think so too. But I think it's better than what it was because before, I mean, it was a flip of the coin and whoever got the, I mean, especially in today's day and age with how it's set up for the offenses and it's harder to stop teams, you have to have each team getting the ball at least once. To be honest with you, I really think that they should go to kind of what a college overtime is, not necessarily starting on the 25, but I think that they should start on their own 20 and they just keep going back and forth until somebody, gets it's equal amount of chances, and then until somebody takes the lead and they win the game. That's my personal opinion on it.
then the Giants get their first win this week by beating the Chargers. It was at Giant Stadium with a rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart.
Did you know that he is the first rookie quarterback to ever beat a 3-0 team on their first start?
Really?
I think Jackson Dart
I
is.
think Mike studied before our podcast.
I'm usually the one.
I
That
told
knows
you,
those on
Jimmy. I
stats
know
and
things.
facts.
I'm like Tyrion Lannister. I told him he reminds me of Tyrion Lannister. He's a little bit bigger.
And then the Bengals laid an egg again. I mean, I don't know what they do, what they need to do. What do you think, Mike or Janelle?
Well, I think the bigger question is, do they need to start shopping around for another quarterback? And nothing against Jake Browning. I don't think it's just his problem. But you have way too much talent on that offense surrounding him for them to be that inept. I mean, they have literally scored average 10 points a game. Well, they got 3 this last game and 10 the week before. Now, granted, it was 2 tough games on the road, but they should be scoring with those receivers and that offense that they built. They should be scoring more than that. And I think that, there's been a lot of rumors about them possibly going after Russell Wilson, which I don't necessarily think that's the answer. But also Jimmy Garoppolo is the second string quarterback for the Rams that obviously went to a Super Bowl. And I always thought Garoppolo got a bad rap. I always thought he was a better quarterback than what people gave him credit
He was
for.
just injury prone.
And I think that he would be a better option in terms of that. But I don't know. The Bengals just do not look very well.
No, they don't.
No.
They don't look.
Well,
They don't look like
and
they're
if they
going to
get
show
if they
any
get a new
moxie at this
quarterback,
point.
I mean, their defense is not that great, and their offensive line, not that great either. So I don't know if that's just the answer, getting another quarterback, because I've seen Browning play some pretty good games.
And it doesn't get any easier. They play the Lions this week.
The
But at least they get them at home. They play the Lions and then somebody else pretty tough. Oh, the Packers at home. They play the Lions and the Packers back to back, so they could easily go to 2 and 4.
And then a game that the Chiefs bounced back.
Are the Chiefs back, Jimmy? What do you think?
They got Xavier Worthy back this past week, and it helped.
Or was it
And
more of the Ravens just look
They've
bad?
only got two more games, and then they'll get Rice back, and then I think they will be back. They'll have all their offense out there. But the Chiefs played a good game. Their defense has showed up every game. The Ravens, they have got problems. First of all, they've got a lot of injuries, and Lamar had a hamstring injury. I haven't heard the status on that right now.
Well, he's definitely out this week.
And their defense still is not looking that great.
I'm going to tell you the biggest problem, too, with a hamstring injury is it takes a long time to recover from that. Because a hamstring is different. It's not like it's not like an ankle where you can just tough it out. If you re-injure the hamstring, you're back to square one. So it's a very delicate injury, and it takes a long time to heal. And it's the same kind of thing with him. He's a running quarterback, and that's his strength. And once you take that away from him, then he's just average. So can the Ravens ever really have that Super Bowl success with a quarterback like Lamar Jackson that relies so much on his legs?
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking Lamar Jackson. I think he's one of the greatest of all time, but I just don't know. And this is something they're going to battle with. And now they're 1-3. Can they bounce back?
I think they can. if they get but it's going to be, they've got to start playing a lot better than what they're doing right now. Defense has to show up. They got to cut down on turnovers, but they can do it. Mike, we've only got 2 undefeated teams now.
We do. Of course, the big win was against Philly at Tampa Bay, and Philly went in there and won pretty easy. Tampa Bay made a little bit of a game of it at the end. But, yeah, we only, after last week, now we have the Eagles and the Bills, the only 2 teams that are undefeated. So,
you know what? That wouldn't be a bad Super Bowl matchup. It
would be great.
Good. Yeah.
Well, I did pick the Bills, and obviously I picked the Packers, which I'm going to still stick with that. I still think the Packers still can
Well,
improve.
you got no choice because I ain't letting you change.
Well, I'm definitely not letting you change with your Ravens pick. That's for sure.
Yeah, I did pick the Ravens.
They might not even make the playoffs.
But I also picked Detroit. And week 1, I was like, uh-oh. But also, before we get into the football games, we got some baseball games that happened last night. The Reds got pummeled by the Dodgers. I just want to mention that.
We started the Major League Baseball playoffs, which we're not as knowledgeable as we should be.
The Red Sox went into Yankee Stadium and came out with a win and then Detroit beat Cleveland, and the Cubs won also.
The Cubbies, that's my team. Well, the Reds and the Cubs, I would love to see them.
This is the best. This is a 3-game, best of 3 games. So could be some of them out tonight because they're playing tonight.
Speaking of the Cubs, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I love going to old baseball stadiums. And if you've never been to a game at Wrigley, you got to go. It's definitely something that you have to check off your bucket list. it's a great place to go watch a game, even if you're not a baseball fan.
So some of the games this week in the NFL, we got a Thursday game that it's got some implications. San
Oh, big
Francisco
time.
at Rams.
Big time. Both of them 3-1. So getting the head-to-head, both of them come. Well, the Rams beat the Colts last week, which was a much better game than I thought it was going to be with how many Colts had some injuries going into that game and had a chance to win it. And then San Fran lost to – who did they lose to? They lost to the Jags. That's right. My surprise team, Jimmy. I think I called that, didn't I? Yeah, they lost to the Jags.
Do I have to brag on it?
You do. You got to give them that credit when it's due.
Okay, good job, Mike.
I'm picking the Rams in this, though.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to take San Francisco.
Janelle, who you got?
Oh, mercy. Let's go with the Rams.
Yeah.
Next, then we got a few games. Minnesota at Cleveland, and the reason I bring this game up is because they moved Flacco. Flacco is not starting.
Well, you knew that was going to happen at some
They've got
point.
Dylan Gabriel will be, and everybody's wondering when are they going to move Shador
Shador
up.
Sanders.
Shador is still the third quarterback in the ranking. They moved Flacco to number 2 quarterback, and I think they should move Flacco to 3, move Shador up to 2, so he'll get more reps in practice and everything. But I'm going to go with Minnesota on this.
I think you have to take Minnesota.
Yep.
I agree
And
with that too.
3 Minnesotas.
3.
3. All right. Then Houston.
Dan Muscle would be happy.
Yeah.
Our
Houston-
guest from a few weeks ago.
Houston at Baltimore.
Man, who would have thought that at the beginning of the season that you'd have a 2-1-3 teams playing each other?
They made the playoffs last year. Both of those teams made the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
Without Lamar, I'm going with Houston on this one.
Picking the road team, huh?
They don't have Lamar, and
Who is Baltimore's backup quarterback? I don't even know.
well, if you didn't know, why'd you ask me and put me on
'Cause
the
I
spot
figured you
again?
know. You know
usually
everything.
do, right?
I didn't know he was going to be out till shortly before the podcast. And I didn't look it up.
Then I guess we don't have a choice but to go with Houston if we have no idea who's going to
I
be.
do know who the quarterback for Houston is, so I picked Houston. There we go.
There we go.
I'm still going to take the Ravens in this,
Okay.
but just because only reason why is because they're playing in Baltimore.
And Miami is at Carolina, and
Another
Tyreek
toilet
Hill.
bowl.
Tyreek Hill was probably.
Oh,
not
that
gonna
was
play.
that was a nasty injury.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
That was nasty. I hated
and
to
I'm
see
going
that.
to go with Carolina.
I'm gonna
Miami,
definitely
Miami
go
won
Carolina.
last week, but they still didn't.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Panthers, even though they laid an egg last week. But I'll take the Panthers at home. Miami's just not
What do
very
you
good.
think? You know?
We're going with the Panthers as well.
All right, and then Vegas at Indiana, and I'm going to go with Danny Dimes. They came off of a
Danny
loss
Dimes.
last week, and I've got to go. It's at Indiana, so I'm going with Indiana.
Well, I know who Janelle's going to pick.
That's easy.
Janelle's a Colts fan, so she's definitely going to pick the
That's the
Colts.
reason I picked.
And you know what? It's a
Because
clean
Janelle's
sweep
go.
because I'm picking the Colts at home as well. The
There we
Colts, to me, man, even like I said, had to deal with some injuries last week, and I've been impressed with the Colts. I really have.
And New York Giants at New Orleans. I'm going with the Giants. New Orleans. They just look bad.
Now, the Giants did lose their best receiver, which could,
Malik Neighbors, he
yeah,
got
Malik
hurt.
Neighbors unfortunately
And
blew out his knee and is out for the rest
He's
of
out
the
for the
season.
year, but
I hate to see that.
I just think the Giants are going to go in there and win. Guys,
I think I'm going to go against that because I think that
well, then you're going with New Orleans, right?
they do have a rookie and it's the first game on the road. I do like Jackson Dart. I think he's going to do well, but I think New Orleans is going to take this one playing at home.
And then Dallas at the New York Jets.
God, you never pick out what the Cowboys are going to do.
Yeah, but we got to take one of them. So you take them.
I'm taking the Cowboys. I don't know why, but I'm taking the Cowboys just because the Jets are bad.
The Jets are 0-4, so yeah, that definitely you're right on that part. If
Cowboys
they're 0-4,
are
they're not good. Are they?
One
No,
field goal
obviously.
away from being
I got to
1-3.
go with Dallas on this one.
I hate to admit that, yeah, because I don't know that I've ever said that those words in the same sentence together all at the same time. If I'm going to go for Dallas, so
And then Denver at Philly. Denver's 2-2, and Philly is 4-0.
I'm got to take the Eagles in that. They haven't shown me. I mean, their offense, sparked up last week and played much better. So playing in Philly, I do think Denver's got a solid team though, but I think Philly wins this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. Janelle.
If I picked anybody besides Philly, my coworker would probably hang me. He
Well,
runs the other half
We don't
of my
want your
department.
death to be
And,
as a result of
this
being
is-
on the
He's a
two
diehard
Micks.
Eagles fan, so we're gonna go with
This is a safe zone. You have to give the audience the truth, the one you actually think. But since he works there, you got to get him on the podcast, so he will be an audience.
Well, he educates me very well on the Eagles, so
Okay.
I have to give him the
Eagles,
credit for that.
The Eagles look good.
Eagles.
They look
and
like
then
getting better too.
Tennessee at Arizona, and Arizona lost another running back.
But they're playing the Titans, Jimmy.
At
Titans.
Arizona, I'm going with Arizona too.
Titans are bad.
Everybody going with Arizona. All right.
Yes.
Yep. Cardinals
Tampa, all right, now here's a good game. Tampa Bay coming off a loss against Seattle.
3-1 versus 3-1.
Yep.
They're playing out in Seattle, so I'm going to take Seattle in that. I love the way Baker Mayfield plays. He plays with that fire, so I think that'll be a great game. It could go either way, but I think I'll take Seattle in that, playing in
I'm
out
going
there
with
on the West
Tampa Bay.
Coast.
I'm gonna go with Seattle on this one. I'm sorry, Jim.
Okay. No, you don't apologize. man.
Don't ever apologize to him.
When I win next week, I'll go,
Yeah.
You promise?
Yeah. Detroit and Cincinnati, and guys, I'm going with Detroit. I think this will be a three-way sweep. You want to take Cincinnati, Mike?
I am not picking with my heart on the Bengals again.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong, but
No, Detroit looks good.
Detroit's playing well, and the Bengals just look awful. So even though they're playing in Cincinnati, I don't see the Bengals winning this game. No.
And then
I just hope they can make a game of it
Yeah.
for once. You know,
Jaden Daniels has been cleared to play and everything. Washington at Los Angeles Chargers, but I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Thank
They
you.
coming off a loss to the Giants. I'm sure Harbaugh will have them fired up and everything.
so I'm definitely taking the Chargers in this. Definitely playing out there in LA.
And then New England, who's 2-2, this is better than they have been doing in the past. Against Buffalo, 4-0, but I mean, yeah, Buffalo.
Definitely taking Buffalo in this. Josh Allen will have them ready to go. Sunday night game in Buffalo. Even though the Patriots have looked a lot better than they have the last couple of years, Mike Vrabel's a really good coach.
I think he'll
get it turned around there. I don't know if he's ever a coach that's going to win you a Super Bowl, but you're always going to have a solid team with
Mike
him.
is good on defense. He has to get an offensive coordinator that really gets the team clicking up. And then Monday night, folks, in this game should be a great game. Kansas City at Jacksonville. And Jacksonville has been one of Mike's favorites all year. He's called it.
Well,
his
I wouldn't say
sleeper team.
favorite. I just picked him
You
to be
said
my
sleeper.
surprise team.
But-
I didn't pick them to win the Super Bowl. I just said I think they'll make the
Okay,
playoffs.
his sleeper team is surprising.
Surprise team.
But anyway, I'm going with Kansas City at Jacksonville. I'm taking the Chiefs. I think maybe they are back.
I'm going to take the Jags in that.
I will as well.
Yeah, playing at the Jags on Monday Night Football, and I think I'll take the Jags. They've played well. They went on the road and won a big one last week out in San Fran, and I just think that they're a good team. And Chiefs had a tough game last week, and I just think the Jags. I'm not saying the Chiefs can't win that game, but I'm going to pick the Jags in that. So, and you know what? That brings us to Jimmy.
Jimmy's gripe.
Jimmy's gripe of the week.
Well,
The favorite part of the show for Jimmy.
we touched on it a little bit, but my gripe of the week is ties in the NFL. If you got a tie, you should tie it, wear it on a sport coat. Tie your shoes. Tie a bow tie. I mean, untie umbilical cord, or however you say it.
Oh,
But
well,
anyway,
What was that? A biblical cord.
yeah, well, it came out anyway. You guys knew what I was saying.
The
but-
biblical cord.
The NFL needs to there should not be a tie in the NFL. You don't have ties in the playoffs. You don't have ties in the Super Bowl. If they have a tie, they play it till somebody wins. Part of that is TV. They don't want it to go over and everything. They don't want it to go into other games. They don't, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind watching a game go like Super Bowl and then all of a sudden wake up Monday morning and I'm still watching the Super Bowl. That would be great.
Well,
But-
you can't have a tie in the Super Bowl. It's just the regular season. Playoffs, you can't have a tie.
You shouldn't have a tie in the regular season either.
They run the
This is
clock
Jimmy's
in
gripe.
over-
This is not a
Well, I'm
debate.
just saying
This is not a debate, folks.
they run the clock, which I don't understand because they can't have a tie in the playoffs.
They can figure out a way where they don't have ties in regular season games. That's my gripe of the week, folks.
And there it is, Jimmy's gripe of the week. Uh-oh, he's getting up. You know what that means. Jimmy's got to pee.
Oh, jeez.
That's the end of our show when Jimmy's got to pee. So, Janelle, thank you for coming on the show
Thank you for having me. It
and
was my pleasure.
giving us your WNBA knowledge and giving us your insight on so many things. I appreciate that. And next week is going to be a little bit different of a show because I'm going to be out of town. We may be doing a show from Hilton. Jimmy won't be there, but I might have a guest Mick.
Ooh,
We'll have to see. Maybe.
more to come, huh?
But if we don't have a show next week, we will be back in 2 weeks, and we'll have a lot to talk about. And at that time, I guess we'll have a WNBA champion, won't we? In 2 weeks.
Yes, we should have a WNBA champion in 2 weeks.
So
we
we'll
can
see.
talk about
We'll
that.
see if your heart or your brain picked right. So, but anyway, hope everybody enjoyed the show. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. And thank you for tuning in. This has been the Two Mix. Peace out. We'll see you guys next week.